The new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host.
All right, my beautiful people, man. Good morning to you. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the new Black Wall Street. We have our Black Money and Power show. I'm your host, ERGJ, your certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprises, ERGJ Black Bazaar, and international best-selling author of the book, The Black Billionaires Club. That book that I wrote is a study of Black wealth. The book that I wrote is a study of the 12 richest Black people in the world today and how they built their wealth. And I just truly believe that if you want to be wealthy, that's a big if, by the way, but if you do, I recommend that you study wealthy people. All right, my beautiful people, man, pick up the book, The Black Billionaires Club, by simply going to the website, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com, www.theblackbillionairesclub.com. We do have the hard copy available or soft copy available for you, also available in ebook, and you can get it in French and also audiobook or ebook as well. Or in French as well. So just make sure to let people know that you get them as gifts, things like that, because I think this is a game changer when we recognize people that look like us that have had great financial success that still live today, and many of these people we simply do not know. Now, while you're here on the website, by the way, I want to show you some things, guys, because we are starting to move into letting you guys know exactly some of the things that we do offer. Once you come on over to the store, when you come on over to our website here, and on the store, there are going to be some special interesting things that I think that you would find of interest, and particularly I want to talk about the books. And so we're going to feature today a book that's written by a good brother of mine, Mr. Prince Dykes, and I'm going to try to get him on the show for you guys, and we'll talk a little bit about what we're going to do with the show. But you can simply come to our store and you will see a book, and this book is called Wesley Learns About Insurance. And so this book shares information as soon as it clicks or something like that. It's a children's book, which will you can introduce your kids into the world of investing through a book like this, illustrated as well. And we're trying to pull up a full copy of it. Not quite sure why we're not responding here, but we'll come back into it again. Make sure our links and stuff are working. Not quite sure what's going on. Let's check out. Okay. All right. So that's the whole payment method and all that stuff. I'll get back out of that. Oh, yeah, this thing is moving slow. That's what's going on. All right. Well, I'll come back to that at some point. Whenever it's time to start moving. But anyway, so Wesley Learns to Invest, or Wesley Learns About Insurance, is our feature book of the day. Again, a book written by our brother, Mr. Prince Dykes, that you can find right here on the website at theblackbillionairesclub.com. So we'll come back in and check our links and stuff like that. But you can find it all on the website. So once you come to the website, just come to the store and you will find that book as well. Now, what I want to share with you guys is a little bit about what we're going to be doing with the show. Again, as I mentioned, we want to bring Prince Dykes on at some point in time. So I'll reach out to him, see if we can get him on. But I want to continue to, because this is a show that we've done for a while. We stopped doing it for a minute. We're bringing it back. And this is going to be Black folk talking about money in the morning. So I want to welcome you to Wall Street, and we'll be looking into Wall Street today. But I want to bring some experts to the show that deal with money, finance, insurance, things like that. Special guests. And then also the biggest thing is I want to answer your questions, okay? So when you guys join or you guys have financial questions or concerns, whether it be retirement, estate planning, whatever the case may be, make sure you inbox us those questions, because here's the deal. What I found is that if you have a question about something and I can answer it in a general sense, that's going to help the whole community, right? Now, if you need specific help, well, that's going to be something where you set an appointment, with me to be able to go over your specific needs. But if you do have a question, you feel like, man, this is a question that'll be good for the show, then make sure you inbox us at ERGJ Enterprises, either on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. And we'll try to incorporate the answer to your question in one of our shows. So if you got whatever kind of question, retirement, that's something I specialize in investing, that's something I specialize in. But I am familiar with all these different areas, and I've got connections in all these different areas as well, because we have got to do a better job of spreading the knowledge, because our people perish for lack of knowledge. So spreading the knowledge, especially as it relates to money, finance, economics, and that's what this show is going to be about. Also going to have, it's called a Black Money and Power show for two particular reasons. One, want to talk about money, but then the other part is power. That's going to be the political aspect that I'm not very versed in, but I've got a few people connected to me that I can bring on to talk to us about the political process and how we actually get power, sometimes by using our money to be able to represent our needs, our wants, our desires for our community. So that's what this show is really all about. It's my landmark show that I just, it's time we got to do this. But good morning to you. Go ahead and let us know that you're here. Go ahead and say good morning to you. Also, let us know where you're connecting from. Hit the like button, the share button if you care. If you find other people that are interested in talking about money and having a conversation about economics, also let them know as well. I want to say good morning to you, Ms. Tisha Benjamin. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the Black Money and Power Show. Miss Hope, Faith, Love, thanks so much for joining us this morning. Good morning to you. Miss Debbie O'Shaughnessy, thanks so much for joining us here as well, here on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, wherever the case may be, let us know where you are, where you're connected from. We're broadcasting here from our studios here in Decatur, Georgia. Decatur, where it's greater. So I'd love to know where you're connected from, just so we can know that's how far our reach is this morning, okay? So again, you got a Black Billionaires Club. And then also, I want to let you guys know about Big Sis Media, which is our sponsor for today. Big Sis Media is a full service the creative design agency. So everything that you see that I do from my flyers, my websites, things like that is all powered and built by Big Sis Media. So if you need some assistance, you need help to communicate with your audience through visual and digital media, well, Big Sis Media is here to watch over your critical creative needs like a Big Sis would. Check out Big Sis Media by simply going to the website, bigsismediagroup.com. That's right, bigsismediagroup.com, to get all of your creative design, your flyers, your websites, anything that's got to do with this whole thing called media, video that you might need, trailers that you might need to run. Make sure you reach out to Big Sis Media, and she is also one of our members for the Black Billionaires Club. So we do have a membership base, where we actually do some good things. Grand Rising to you, Mr. Ryan Scott. Thanks so much for joining us from Fort Worth, Texas. Thanks so much, good brother, man, doing that good work that's out there in Texas, man. Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. Well, guys, last thing I wanted to announce to you guys, I am actually do have a request, and that's for you to go over to YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Still trying to reach our goal of 1,000 YouTube subscribers. This puts us into a position where we can actually, start to monetize the creative content that we do over on YouTube, and it's something that you can help us out with by doing something for free. And so we ask that you would go over to YouTube, ERGJ Enterprises, hit the subscribe button. And so that's where a lot of our content is as well. That really helps us out. Something that you can do for free that'll help us get paid. And then that way you don't have to pay for us to keep doing what we've been doing, because we're doing what we're doing for the community. So hopefully you guys understand that as well. But anyway, I want to get right into the show this morning, guys. We are going to hop into the market. So I want to welcome you to Wall Street. Everybody put in comments on hashtag Wall Street. Welcome you to Wall Street. So for those that don't know, last year, roughly around this time, we started our investment club. So it's a Black-owned, Black people investment club where we are really teaching, educating, and investing together. And so what I decided to do was first to continue to educate, but then we'll be opening it back up to offer those that want to be a part, that don't want to invest by themselves, but want to invest together so they can learn together and then go invest by themselves. Well, we'll be opening up open enrollment in about 3 months. So if you want to be, you've been talking about this thing called investment, but you don't really understand, don't know how, but you want to be a part of a group and do some things together. Well, you can join the Black Billionaires Club, and then you become eligible to be a part of our investment club. So again, all that can be found on the website at theblackbillionairesclub.com. But welcome to Wall Street. Now, for those that are here live with me, first I want to make sure that everything is kind of visible. So for the screen that's showing right now, if you can see everything clearly on the page that we're sharing, let me know that it's good. If it's not good, then let me know so I can kind of make it bigger. I think I might need to make it bigger because I want to make sure that you guys can see as we go through some of the stuff. So I'm going to take it up a notch and see if that's going to be better. Let's go to 125. So this 125. Let me know if that's better. So guys, can you guys read and see the stuff that's on the screen very clearly? And then my second question is going to be, do you want me to go full screen, or do you really want to kind of see my little face over here to your right, to your left, I guess? So let me know how that looks. Does it look better if we go full screen? Or, you just hear my voice, or do you want to see my lips moving? You want to see my lips moving, or you don't mind if I just go full screen? You guys let me know. Which one, Tisha? Let me know. I'm going to go with the queen this morning, Miss Benjamin. Full screen or lips moving? Which one you want me to go with? Not full screen. Okay, so y'all want to see that there's actually a person that's here. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right, so she says if the queen says that it's perfect, then it must be perfect. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If the queen says it's perfect, the brother said he wanted to go full screen. Okay, so we got a poll that's going on. All right, so those that are watching us live here today, if you want me to go full screen, go and put it down. So full screen. If you want to see me over to the side, go ahead and put lion. So either full screen or lion, since the lion behind me. I want you guys to do a quick poll so we know how we're going to do this morning. Y'all want full screen or you want lion? You want to see me over to the side? Which one's better for you? I know some people want to make sure that it's a real person that's actually doing this morning. But welcome to Wall Street. I'm going to get your opinion because we got 1-1 right now. So whatever the full thing is, that's what we'll go with. So while you guys are typing that below, just want to I'll adjust when you guys type. I know I talk fast and you type. Now, so welcome to Wall Street, guys. We're going to be going through today's stock market headlines, news that you can use, talk about how to interpret the news, understanding kind of the market as well. And this is valuable information because this is what you use, begin to understand as it relates to you and your own personal retirement. I want you to really understand. I want you to take control of your future, right? I want you to take control of your future. And the way that you can do that is by taking control of your knowledge, right? So our people perish for lack of knowledge, and most people find themselves broke because of lack of knowledge, right? So once you get the knowledge, then you can make the adjustments in your action, right? You can do something different because you know something different. Now, I want us to also understand that just because I know something different does not mean that I will do something different. So knowing better does not mean that you'll do better, right? It just means that you know better. You still have to decide. Everybody put in console hashtag decide. You still have to decide to do better, right? So just because I tell you that, hey, we have an investment club that's available for you, just because I tell you that, hey, we are already up 15% since we started investing together, just because you know better and it's an option for you, you still have to decide to be a part of it, right? So it's still a decision. It's a personal decision, which means that it's personal responsibility. It's on each individual to take responsibility for their finances, ultimately for their legacy, and ultimately for the inheritance that they leave to their children's children. It's a personal decision. That's why it's called personal finance. Now, here's the interesting thing. Many of us will find ourselves getting upset because of what was not taught to us, when in reality, we can go and teach ourselves once we become aware that this stuff is out here. So, for example, when I was younger, I was not really aware of this thing called investing. But once I heard about it, then I looked into it. Then I decided to invest my own time, my own money to learn what I did not know. And now I'm sharing what I've learned over my years in studying and research, right? So it's a decision that I made a long time ago. And now I'm a certified financial educator. Now I'm here doing this show and I'm presenting options to other people, and they still have to decide. Now, Sometimes that decision is to complain. Sometimes that decision is to have regrets. Sometimes that decision is whatever it may be. But it's still a decision that you and I make as it relates to our personal finance, as it relates to the inheritance ultimately that we leave to our children's children. It is a choice. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you things that I've learned over a time frame. Things that I became aware of when I was about 30 years old. And I said, man, something is wrong because this is not general knowledge that's being taught to the masses. It's a class thing. Really, and then I'm not saying it's taught them on class basis, just because they're aware, they continue to just pass down the information and learn and learn and learn, or teach and teach and teach, generation after generation after generation. And ultimately, that's what we do. We teach the next generation what we know. The problem is we're not being exposed to the things that we don't know. And one of those things that many of us don't know is this thing called Wall Street. So again, I want to welcome you this morning to Wall Street. Okay, welcome to Wall Street. Now, all right, so nobody gave me, I did all that to say this. Okay, full screen. So you guys said full screen. So I'll go full screen now, and we'll begin to look at this thing called Wall Street. We're using CNN. So first we're going to start with the news that you can use, okay? We'll start with the news that you can use. And you're going to find, I think you're going to find this fascinating topic as we begin to realize that that the biggest part of this thing is realizing that everything that happens has an impact on the economy, which ultimately has an impact on money. And if we can begin to think in terms of money, or the money impact, everybody put in console money impact. If we begin to think in terms of money impact, then we can make financial decisions that can have a positive impact on our money, our cash flow, our cash reserves, the growth, investing over time. Let me say that again. If we begin to think in financial, to think of the economy, then we can understand that everything that happens has an impact or has a money impact. Then we can begin to make decisions with our money that will have a positive impact on our bank account. You see what I'm saying? And ultimately, that's what it's about. But it's actually switching the mind to think about money, switching the mind to talk about money. Now, how many of you guys would agree that money is a major subject? Not just math, but money itself. You know, is money major or minor in your life? Are you working so hard every day to get money, or just to lose it or spend it, or let it go? Money is a major subject. So my advice to people is to major in money. Everybody put in console, major in money. Now, so let's take a look at the headlines here, guys. See what we're talking about here on CNN. I just like to use, we can use any of them, but this one I love. They're very visual, a lot easier to see, and then we'll get into the market itself. We got the drones, disinfecting robots, and supercomputers. So this is going to go into this whole new area of growth that many of us are aware of, which is the drone technology. And what's happening here is they're using drones to go into areas where the outbreak is of the China virus or coronavirus, right? To gather information. So this should be what? This should be negative or positive impact for the drone industry. Think about that for a second. Is this going to be a negative or positive impact, right? Should we expect there to be growth in this area or decline in this area based upon this just headline itself? Saying, hey, man, instead of sending people over into this area that's an outbreak and for them to get infected, why not send some robots and see if we can find some information, gather some information to try to bring a solution to this outbreak problem, right? Is this a positive or negative impact? Will we see more? Should we see an influx of cash flow into this industry from this coronavirus, or should we see a negative impact, right? Cash flow leaving this industry. What do you think? Is it cash flow coming in or cash flow going out? Starting to think about things. A positive, that's right. Tisha Benjamin, that's right. It's a positive impact for the drone industry. And so then the thing is like, well, hey, if I'm interested in drone technology, if I'm interested in in uh in this industry, then I start to look for companies, right, that's going to have a big impact with that makes drones or some type of maybe some of the technology that's inside of drones, supercomputers, chips, things like that. Now, there's another part, right, that we see, not just the drones. There's another industry that may have a positive impact or cash flow coming in from this coronavirus issue, global issue that's taking place in China, right? What do you think that is? Right? What industry, what other industries will have a positive money impact from this coronavirus that's taking place, that's happening over this outbreak that's happening in China? What other industry can we expect to have a positive impact? In other words, cash flow coming in. Anybody? Cash flow coming in. Right now, here's the thing. It's hard. Sometimes we think about a virus outbreak and it gets us all emotional, and we start thinking about all the lives that'll be lost. Yes, that's the emotional, sentimental part. But I want to talk about the economic impact. What's another industry that you would say, man, is probably gonna have a positive impact from the outbreak of the coronavirus in China? So, Stephen, man, Mr. Consistent's up in the house, man. He said the mask. Right, I guess you're talking about maybe a gas mask, something like that. We learned yesterday that Garrett Morgan, a black man, was the actually inventor of the gas mask. So gas mask industry. So we're talking about plastic suits. We're talking about whatever type of material is being created for people to wear so that they're not infected when they go into those areas. Anybody else? What's another area that we should see a positive impact? Money, cash flow going into more them, selling more stuff. When it comes to this thing called the coronavirus. Now it looks like I just blacked out a little bit. Oh, okay, we good. Oh, look at that. Look at CNN when they pop up. Get that man off my screen. All right. Right? Anybody else? Positive impact from this outbreak. Latex gloves, protection gear, right? Yep. Transportation, right? Hospitals and pharmaceuticals, anything with high-speed internet. They need internet to run those drones. They do? Okay. Right? Health. There we go. Healthcare and pharmaceutical. That's the big one, right? Hospitals, Vivian Reed, pharmaceuticals, and Courtney Gore. Absolutely. Antibiotics, right? So now we're talking about healthcare. Okay. So people getting sick, they're going to be using their insurance or not. They're going to be going to the hospital, right? So all the hospitals, healthcare industry, pharmaceuticals, going to see a big impact, positive impact from this catastrophe or this outbreak that's taking place in China. So if we understand this, then we can say, hey, why don't I look at some drone companies? Why don't I look at some healthcare companies? Why don't I look at some transportation companies and see if they have a connection to China, right? And they're below market value, where I can buy them on sale. Now, here's the interesting thing. We're gonna keep going. I'm gonna come back to this second. Y'all doing good. Y'all doing good this morning. The drug industry will definitely be happy. I know that's right. The drug industry is gonna be happy. They're gonna be sedating people and making sure that they not upset. Now, I'm not going to read through this whole little article, but I wanted to just to highlight itself, and you guys understand, man, this is what's going on when we start thinking in terms of money, right? So here we have another highlight. It says, hey, global stocks and oil slump on coronavirus pandemic fears. Now, what does that tell us, right? Number one, the first thing I see when I hear this is that oil is on sale. Right, they slump, right, which means that they recede, that they are less expensive, right? Global stock hammered. Now, here's the philosophy that comes from Warren Buffett, the third richest man or fourth richest man in the world now, who simply says this. I hate all these pop-ups. Who simply says this, that be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So when we hear that global stocks or stock markets are falling around the world, is that greed or fear? Right? At the number of coronavirus cases surged in Italy and South Korea, putting two more major economies at risk from a virus that has already caused widespread disruption in China. So we have three countries, right? China, Italy, and South Korea, where there is major what? Fear. Like the world is going to end. So some major fear going on, right? These things are increased. That's what I'm talking about, Todd. These things are increased revenue, 17 years of healthcare. That's what I'm talking about. Sanitation companies as well, right? So we have China, Italy, and South Korea. What I want you guys to begin to think in terms of world or global, not just United States. Now, think about this though. If there is fear in foreign companies, i.e. China, or foreign territories, i.e. China, Italy, and South Korea, then that brings faith back to America. Okay, there's the dichotomy between fear and faith. So fear meaning, hey man, we're moving out. Faith meaning we're coming in. So if there's fear in the foreign territories, that automatically brings or increases the faith in the domestic territories. Does that make sense? So we're basically saying, hey, I'm not. It's not like people are going to be moving over to China during an outbreak, but it's more likely that people will be moving out of China, right, to come to America so they're not contaminated by the outbreak. So there's fear going on in China, fear taking place in South Korea, fear taking place in Italy, and faith or an increase taking place in the United States. Now, Warren Buffett says to be fearful when others are greedy. So be fearful of what's taking place in the United States right now, but be greedy when others are fearful. So be greedy in these foreign territories that are going through this crisis. But how many guys know that, bad days don't last always, right? Bad days don't last always. It's called just like we have a recession, we also have appreciation. So right now there is a recession taking place, you can call it, or a decline in value in China, which we know is a global power. In South Korea, which that could be debatable. Italy, I don't know so much. So, but there's faith or increase, and we'll see that as we continue to go along. Okay, so I want to help you guys understand how to really read through some of the stuff that we're reading. So South Korea is impacted in a negative way right now. Italy being impacted in a negative way right now. China being impacted in a negative way right now. How many guys do business with China and you recognize over the past month or 2 months you couldn't get any production done, and that's impacted your business, right? You're like, man, I can't get nothing shipped out. There's nothing coming in, nothing going out because of this outbreak. So there's a global impact from a standpoint of trade and import and export, but then there's also a local impact. So it's something to think about, something to consider. You guys, if this making sense to you, let me know. I just want to make sure we making sense this morning as we got black folk talking about money in the morning. What's going on with you, man? Mr. Consistent says this, man. They will probably start back manufacturing things in the U.S. now. I see more factories being built in USA. Absolutely. It's hurting you. I know that's right, man. So I do want you to understand that I was impacted by quite a few companies in China that said they're back into production now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm doing this show today. If they're back into production now, then we can expect their revenues to go back into increase mode. Which also says that, hey, if I want to increase with their increase, I need to get in now, right? I need to get in now while values may be low. And we'll take a look at that in just a second. Let's keep going. So we see that there. Pepsi is a major Chinese snack retailer for 700 is buying now. Why in the world? Look at this. So now we're talking about China. What's going on in China? We're talking about these slumping stocks. And then we get into the next major highlight. Pepsi is buying a major Chinese snack retailer for $705 million. Isn't that interesting? Pepsi, listen to this. All you need to see, this amount doesn't matter. What matters in this is that Pepsi is buying. That's the part that's important. Pepsi is buying China. That's how you read headlines. Pepsi is buying Chinese. They're buying China, right? And guess what? Guess at the time that they're buying it at, they're buying China when China is in decline. They're buying China when everybody else is selling. I don't care what they're buying. I don't care how much they're buying it for. What I care about is that Pepsi is buying it. If Pepsi is buying, a big brand company like Pepsi is buying China, the question is, why would I not? Why would I not follow the big dogs who are also buying China? Tells me I probably need to be looking at buying China today. Everybody putting also buy China. Buy China, not the China that you put into the old grandma, cabinet. Buying China, right? I don't care what they're buying. I don't care how much they're buying it for. That could be important to some people if you're in the retail space, if you're an investor in Pepsi. But I'm seeing that Pepsi is buying. Okay, let's keep going. See what else we see here. Anybody in the real estate industry? You got Zillows talking about losing millions of dollars on selling homes. I know Courtney Gore, you're into that. But he said, hey, the CEO says it's a risk. Isn't worried about is risk-taking CEO isn't worried. That's interesting. We got something about coronavirus as well. The daily reminder of China global reach. The stranded lobsters are missing wedding dresses. I'm not quite sure about that. Warren Buffett, I saw that as well in his Berkshire leadership. Look at this. The coronavirus fears have pushed the United States dollar to a 3-year high. The coronavirus fears have pushed the U.S. dollar to a 3-year high. So that goes back to what I was saying earlier, how the fear that's taking place in China, the fear that's taking place in foreign has increased the faith in domestic. Now, can you imagine that the dollar, this measly piece of paper that we have is increasing in value? That's basically what they're saying. It's increasing in value because there's more faith now in the dollar. Because it's useful, it can be spent, it can be traded when it's hard to do trade in China based upon the things that's going on with the outbreak. So that's what's taking place. There's always this shift, this momentum shift of money based upon what's happening in the world, not just what's happening in the United States. Okay. And then the last thing I came across that I thought was interesting, and we can go through all of this stuff. This is all some good stuff. Was this down here? Look at this. I thought this might be interesting to some people. So McDonald's is making scented candles that smell like your favorite. Oh Lord, I don't like this. Okay, here we go. That smell like your favorite. That smell like your favorite quarter pounder ingredients. So McDonald's is now into the scented candle business. Everybody say, wow. Everybody put in the comments, wow. McDonald's is now into the fragrance industry. Wow. Who'd have thought? Now, McDonald's make hamburgers. McDonald's sells French fries. McDonald's is also into real estate. And now McDonald's has entered the fragrance industry. Wow. Now, the real thing to take away from this, guys, is that McDonald's is basically a model for multiple streams of income. Right? McDonald's says ain't nothing off limits. As long as we can connect it to our brand, as long as if we can put our logo on it, as long as we can make it make sense, and if it can make dollars, then it makes sense. Everybody put it on. So if it makes dollars, it makes sense. And in this particular case, it's going to make some sense, like a fragrance sense. And it's going to speak to the emotions or to the smell, the senses of the people to get them to buy more quarter pounders or more French fries or more hamburgers. Wow. Ingenious. Now, I don't know if it's going to work. I don't know if people want to buy a candle that smells like a hamburger, but maybe they do. The point is that McDonald's has entered the fragrance industry. I think I'm gonna go with the face over here. Has entered the fragrance industry. That's a big wow. That's a double wow. So, fast food chain is making a 6-pack of scented candles that will smell like your favorite quarter pound ingredients. You can smell a bun. You can smell ketchup. Smell pickles. Smell cheese. Smell onion. Smell beef. I don't know if this gonna work, but see, they're willing to try. Now, I'm serious. I'm sure that McDonald's put some type of pilot out here, and people were like, hey, that smell good. Oh, I like the smell of that. That smell like a bun. Oh, that smell like ketchup. I don't know if I want something that smell like ketchup, but maybe some people want something that smell like ketchup. I just find this interesting that McDonald's is entering the fragrance industry, which is $1 trillion industry. So not only is McDonald's into the food or fast food service industry, not only is McDonald's really into the retail business, or I'm sorry, real estate industry, they are now entering the fragrance industry. So I think we got a certain marketing here. If you think about that for a second, hopefully it gives you a good idea. But we also have Courtney Gore Smith, real estate. Hopefully it gives you a good idea. Courtney Gore, you got female house hustler, right? Well, how about some female house hustler candles? Sir Marketer, I believe you're here. If you're still here, I know you're big into the fragrance industry. Have you ever considered candles? Right, we know we got incense, but what about candles? Some heavily body product candles or some chronic killer candles. Be interested. If McDonald's is going to enter the fragrance industry and McDonald's is entering into candles, they have to be saying that people buy candles. A whole lot of them. They have to have done their research, say, man, this is worth the investment. There's something about the candle. Who knows what else they'll go into? But if McDonald's is going to enter it, a billion dollar, multi-billion dollar company, well, it tells me maybe there's something to this candle thing that I need to know about that I ain't looked into. Might be interested. I don't know if we're going to do buns, pickles, or ketchup, but I'm just saying, seems like it's going to be very interesting. Hey, and that's what I'm saying. Vivian Reed said pickle sense. Now, hey, let me ask you guys this. For those that are watching us live here, of these 6 fragrances, a bun, ketchup, pickles, cheese, onion, and beef, any one of those that you would want? I'm thinking, I guess I know that pickles is probably going to be probably the most popular. I can imagine. I don't know what type of pickles. Anybody like the smell of cheese? Anybody like the smell of onions? The smell of beef? I don't know about that. I don't know what that smell. What does that really smell like? God, I guess it's beef on. That's interesting. It's gonna make you hungry though, and McDonald's is hoping that it makes you hungry enough to think about McDonald's to go buy you some more McDonald's if you buy the candles, or they're gonna give them away. This is interesting. So the candles were created to celebrate the burger's nearly 50-year run, and that's not all. McDonald's also released a line of merchandise that includes mittens. Look at this. Now they're into the retail business. Mittens, calendars, lockets, T-shirts, stickers, and pins, all for its biggest quarter pounder fanatics. So McDonald's into fast food service. McDonald's is into real estate. McDonald's is into the fragrance industry. McDonald's is also into the retail industry. I want you to think about your brand right now, whatever it is that you represent. Whatever represents you in the business or your idea, and I want you to start thinking like McDonald's. What other ways can your brand be represented that could bring you more income, called multiple streams of income? I mean, this is an absolutely phenomenal example of a multi-billion dollar company leading the way and showing people that we're not afraid to step into these other areas that could bring great prosperity. It could fail, it could fall flat on its face, but we're willing to try and see if this could be something that really catches fire. We're talking about multiple streams of income. Multiple streams of income. Everybody put that console, multiple streams of income. What's going on, man? Todd Smith said, yes, candles. Everyone loves smell good. Ryan said, nope, not me. No. Beef probably. Hey, we don't know. This is very interesting, I tell you. It all makes me, it will make people hungry. Make people want to go buy more McDonald's, right? They're quarter pounder fanatics. So I found that'd be very interesting news that you can use and something insight that you can take away, especially if you're building a brand of some sort that you find interesting. Anyway, let's get into these markets this morning, guys. I think I'm gonna go a half screen. I think some people like to see see me move around and do all that stuff. But can y'all see? Maybe I need to go. I don't know. I'm gonna keep going back and forth. I don't know. I like being seen. I'm a pretty animated guy. All right, so let's take a look at the market, guys. I want you guys to understand some of this stuff. This is the Welcome to Wall Street portion where we begin to understand what some of this stuff means. These are 3 markets, 3 indexes that you see up top. The Dow, the NASDAQ, and S&P 500. These are benchmarks. The Dow is actually an index that houses McDonald's is inside of the Dow. And it's actually 30 companies that represent the 30 most significant companies in America. Now, it's very interesting that the Dow is actually down when we just heard that there was higher faith in the American dollar. Because when you invest in the Dow, you're actually investing in America. Because these 30 companies really represent the greatness of this domestic territory that we call the United States of America. And McDonald's is one of those companies inside the Dow. But at any rate, on Friday, the Dow was down 227 points. The NASDAQ is a place of technology. This is where a lot of technology companies are found, Google, Amazon, things like that. Probably some of those drone companies are found inside the NASDAQ as well. That was down 74 points on Friday. S&P 500, which is a conglomerate of about 500 different companies, it was also down, only 35 points or 1% down on Friday. So we see fear in the market. Fear in the market. Next, they share popular stocks that you might be interested in, where they stand. Then we get into key stats, which will be, oil again now 33.92%. Gold is actually up. So look at this, gold is at $1,679. Now, this is very interesting, a very great position for people who continue to promote gold. If you're in Carrot Bars or something like that, this is actually, see, when you start getting to this information, you can really make a good space for your presentation when you start talking about the price of gold. We start talking about where the value of gold was. And I'll do a presentation on this as well, because I never hear anybody talk about the value of gold. They just talk about how you should buy gold, but they don't talk about really about how gold can grow or generate or increase in value. And it's just an interesting thing. But if you're in Carrot Bars or something like that, and you really want to take it to another level as it relates to your presentation to grab people's attention, to get them to join or be a part of your organization, you got to start talking about the price of gold, where it is right now, where it's been, where it's going. And this is what happened with the coronavirus or the outbreak, causing fear in companies, or fear in the transfer or the currency. Fear in currency has brought people into investing into commodities, and one of those commodities is gold. So we have currency, everybody put in comments, so currency versus commodity. Currency, dollar, euro, yen, right? Currency, peso, currency, is losing faith because it's becoming untradeable because of a global impact. Commodities, right? Gold, corn, oil, things like that, becomes more valuable, or as a defensive play for the regression or the recession of currency. So you have currency versus commodity. This is the balancing act that takes place in markets, right? Currency versus commodities. And then you move into a whole nother space, right? When we start talking about cryptocurrency, but that's a different type of currency. We'll get to that on another day. What's going on? Sincere, what's going on with you? You can interact by going back and forth. Yeah, I'm going back and forth. Multiple streams of income. Now we're talking, right? Currency versus commodities. All right, let's keep going. So we have oil, right? What that we know is kind of down, but still at $50 a barrel. It hadn't gone under $50, which is very interesting to me. But we have a lot of oil that's coming from what? Coming from foreign countries, right? And them getting that oil to us, or the production of oil or the transportation of oil is slowed down because they got all their workers are dealing with virus or virus protection. That's why oil is down, because the trade of oil is going down because it just simply can't get here. But what happens when the virus clears? What happens, just like Ebola, we don't hear about Ebola no more. What happens when they finally announce that they have cleared the virus, or it's not, or it's been, whatever, it's been taken care of? Well, production ramps back up, money starts flowing back in, and, you get more bang for your buck. So then you got to ask yourself, well, should I particularly start looking at some oil companies right now to invest in, so I can catch it on the low bottom end, waiting ultimately on the cure of this, or at least the, whatever you want to call it, to subside, where oil companies go back into production. And I'll share with you one oil company that I think is bound to do well. I'll share that with you today. So we got Equifax scores. Why is Equifax up 5.79%? Because it's tax time, right? We understand that. People pulling taxes, people looking at the credit, everything trying to get straight. Beginning of the year, right? Equifax goes into go mode at the beginning of the year every year, pretty much on par, right? We got Iron Company, Fidelity, National Information Services, Laboratory Corporation of America, whatever that is, Applied Materials. That goes into Applied Materials is where we get those plastic, the gas mask and the plastic gloves, latex glove. Applied Materials makes sense, right? We have I don't know what all these are. NetApp, CenturyLink, they were all down 9%. Wow, on Friday, okay? And so we look over here, we see consumer durables up 49%, I guess, for the year. Energy minerals down 8.24%. Oil, $51 per barrel. Gasoline right now. Now, this is interesting. Gasoline across the country is supposed to be $1.85, right? So gas prices have gone down, which kind of makes sense as well. But this is the national average across the country, $1.85 for regular unleaded gasoline. I paid, how much you guys paying at the pump right now in your particular area for regular unleaded gasoline? Are you paying close to $2 now? Have you noticed that the gasoline, the price of gas or the price at the pump is going down? That has an impact, or is impacted by what's going on with oil in the global market. Gold is going up as fear increases in the market between currencies. Typically, money moves into commodities, and gold being the strongest commodity as it relates to the store of value for your money. Silver is right behind it, 1868. So that's a good place to have balance in your portfolio. When you're invested in companies, you also can invest in some commodities or some defensive plays, so that as your businesses that you invest in might reduce in value, your defensive plays begin to increase. Can you imagine if you had invested in gold when it was $1,200, you'd be up basically 25% in a few months, not knowing that an outbreak is going to take place, and we don't know what's going to happen in the future. But that's what we see here when it comes to these commodities, oil, gasoline. Understanding that gold, silver, store of value, money not leaving the market, money just being transferred from one place to the other. Okay. Now, what was I going to talk about next? Let me see. Make sure I ain't getting no comments over here. 217 in Texas. So yeah, so that's a reduction, right? So I guess I need to go back to investment kindergarten. Well, this is investment kindergarten for you, man. I try to do my best to try to provide, some valuable service in our conversation. So hopefully you get something out of it today. Their commodities will rise again. Absolutely. They will rise again. And so the question is, do you want to be buying stuff when it's rising, or do you want to buy stuff actually when it's falling? As long as you can quantify that it will rise again. There's some things that are falling that'll never come back up. There's some things that are falling because they're dying, right? There's other things that are falling, but they will get back up because they're still valuable to the marketplace, and they're still usable to millions and billions of people. So that's the difference. Recognizing something that's fallen that won't get back up, i.e., probably I would say, retail or brick and mortar retail. I don't think that's going to get back up. I don't think that's going to rise again. I think that's the end of an era, right? But when we start talking about oil, transportation, when we start talking about healthcare and protection of people in their lives and their health and stress and all that stuff, that ain't going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? So there's a difference in looking at what might be going, what might be the end of an era, end of a decade. There's been changes, or there's been generations, right? You had the age of industry, the age of agriculture, the age of now technology, right? So these are eras that ebb and flow in this thing called life. But there's certain parts of those eras that'll still be relevant and valuable, i.e. agriculture. We still got to eat, right? Well, it may not just not be as valuable or not in the same way as we've done in the past, all right? Now that you get started, and how do you choose what to invest in first? Let's start with, what is a share? Okay, so what are we looking at? Okay, so great question. So how do you get started, and how do you choose what to invest in first? So the question is, how do you get started, and how do you choose what to invest in first? Well, how you get started is exactly what we're doing now. We start by actually thinking in terms of global economy, thinking in terms of local impact, and thinking about, okay, what will be great? What will grow in value, or what do we perceive to be of greater value as time moves on? That's the first thing. You got to start there. And then what do we perceive to be of lesser value? So if we say that, hey, we think that drone technology is here to stay, or it's the beginning, it's a part of this age of technology. We think that it's going to be growing over time. We think that we're going to be using more drones, more robots to take care of things like this instead of someone's life being in danger. The robot ain't gonna contract that virus. Then we can say, okay, well, let me start to begin to research the drone technology, drone companies, and see what may be sold publicly, and then begin to go through those companies like that. So it's not a short process; it's kind of long, but then you have something that's easier, right? We just talked about McDonald's. Let's take a look at McDonald's. I think that's a good thing to go. So let's take a look at McDonald's. Since we talked about McDonald's, I think that'd be a great thing for us to take a look at and talk about today. So let's go to McDonald's. McDonald's. Yeah, let's do McDonald's. All right. So someone asked, what's the share? Great question. So we'll take a look at McDonald's more. I'm going to look at something else. But since we start talking about McDonald's for some strange reason, let's keep on talking about McDonald's. So I come in here, we come to McDonald's. Now, let me ask that question for you. So she say, what's the share? All right. So McDonald's Corporation, right? Its ticker symbol is MCD. So everybody put it down. So MCD. So that just means when I come to Wall Street, I come to some financial company or some financial website. In order for me to find McDonald's, I either put in the whole McDonald's or I put in MCD, and then I will actually find the representation of McDonald's on Wall Street, which is MCD. Okay, that's the first thing. Up top, we see this number. It says $216.87, I believe, $215.87. That is going to be the price of one share of McDonald's. That's the price of one share of McDonald's. So if you would like to buy one whole share of McDonald's, it will cost you $215.87 as of right now. That price always changes and fluctuates, but that's the price it'll be right now. If you want to buy McDonald's, one share of McDonald's, you say, hey, I believe in McDonald's. I believe McDonald's will be more valuable. I see they're getting into the fragrance industry. I see they've been in real estate. I see they're getting into retail. Yeah, they're all over the place, and I want to be a part of this great, fast food company that's been around over 50 years. That would be how much you would pay to be a part of McDonald's. All right. Next, we see this change, which is Friday's change of the growth or decline of McDonald's in the 1 day period. We see the 52-week high. It tells us over the last year how low, what's the lowest low, and what's the highest high McDonald's, one share of McDonald's has been over a past year. So the lowest point that it's been over the past year is $178. The highest point that it's been over the past year is $221. And in this year, so far, since January, McDonald's has grown 9.24% since January 1st. That's what all this top line is saying. Now, my question to you would be, based upon just a little bit of information, based upon what we talked about earlier with McDonald's, would you want to buy McDonald's right now for $215.87? That's a great question to ask. Would you want to buy McDonald's, that's one share of McDonald's, right now for $215.87? The next line we have, guys, is MCD, their dividend. So basically, they're letting you know that McDonald's pays a dividend, and a dividend is basically McDonald's sharing with their shareholders, a kickback or a refund or money back, saying, hey, we've been so profitable over the years, and we want to be able to share some of our profits with our shareholders. So for every share that you own, we're going to pay you $1.25 right now for this quarter. And so it'll be a quarterly dividend that they pay out. So if I own one share of McDonald's, they're going to pay me $1.25. I own two shares of McDonald's, I'm going to get $2.50, and that's going to be every 3 months. That dividend may change. So that's basically you getting money back. That's basically passive income that comes from just owning McDonald's. Whether it went up or went down, doesn't matter. You still get that 125 or 250 or 375 or $4 based upon your share, how many shares that you own over time. Everybody put in console passive income. So passive income is another way that you can have what we call multiple streams. So just owning one share of McDonald's, you get passive income with it, and you have the opportunity for the value of your share to grow over time. And let's give you an idea of what we mean by over time. So we're looking at the beginning of the year. We're looking at the beginning of the year. Let's take a look a little bit further back. So if you and I had decided, we've been eating McDonald's probably our whole life, but if last year we decided, hey man, we're gonna own McDonald's, we want to own us some McDonald's, and we bought it on January 1st, or we actually bought it on February 24th last year, we'd be up 18% in since the time in 1 year since we bought McDonald's. We bought McDonald's 1 year ago. The value of our share itself will be up 18%. That means that I would have got 4 dividend payments of whatever that is, of how many shares I own, and the share itself that I own would have grown 18%. This is the power of investing. Everybody put in the console power. I got the power. This is the power of investing. That $200, or at that time, I guess it was about $150, $180 that you could have spent or invested into McDonald's would have grown to $215.87 in 1 year time without you doing anything. Plus, you would have garnered 4 additional payments of dividends over that time frame where they paid you back based upon your ownership in their company. I mean, guys, that's like double wow. My money grew, or the value of my dollars grew, and I got money paid to me just for doing something just for being a part of the process. It's called participating in their profits. Is this making sense? Anybody got any questions about what I've shared thus far? This is passive income, which is dividends. This is an opportunity for appreciation of your dollars with a company that many of you guys have probably done business with before. Is there anybody here who has not spent in the past year? Is there anybody here who okay, no, not my asset. In the past year, how many of you would say that you've spent at least $1 at McDonald's for some reason in the past year? You bought something for yourself, something for the kids, right? You've done business with McDonald's. If who's here saying yes, I've done business with McDonald's over the past year. I definitely, even though I bypassed them a lot, I can definitely say I've done some type of business with McDonald's over the past year, even if I didn't really intend to, even if it wasn't for myself. All right, you get the kids, we gotta go to McDonald's, get some Happy Meals or whatever the case may be. So for many of us, we've done business with McDonald's in the past year, but not too many of us have actually garnered 18% of growth of our dollars by participating in the profits of McDonald's. And not many of us, above and beyond that, have actually got 4 payments. Can you imagine McDonald's paying you 4 times a year? McDonald's paying you 4 times a year, no matter how small you think that is, just for being a part of their participating in their profits, which also would have garnered you 18% over the past year. Right? Right? So T said, man, I don't eat there. I don't eat there either, but I definitely can still say, even though I don't eat there, myself personally, I still have done business there, some way, form, or fashion in the past year. Not everybody has, but I would definitely say that I have. And whether it's been a little ice cream, a little ice cream cone or something like that. I've done business with McDonald's over the past year. Fantastic. Now, let's take a little step further. Let's go back just a little bit. Let's go back 3 years. So 3 years, if I invested in McDonald's 3 years ago, and for many of us, we know McDonald's for a long time. That probably been about $125 at that time 3 years ago. In 3 years, that would have been 12 payments, right? 3 times 4, 12 payments that McDonald's would have paid me for my ownership in McDonald's, plus 68% or basically 70% growth in value of the dollars that I invested in McDonald's. So my $130 or $125, whatever it is, would have grown to $215.87, which represents about a 68% growth in the value of the money I invested 3 years ago, plus 12 payments that came from McDonald's back to me. So that's appreciation plus dividends. I like to call that getting your cake and your icing, right? I want my cake and my icing, right? I want it all, right? Get my cake and eating it too. You guys find this interesting? This is the part of money that's not really taught mainstream that you and I can participate in at any point in time. All right. Now, we can look at some other things as well. I think that kind of does as well. And I won't really get into, evaluating where this company is. That's something that, is really next level that we do in the New Black Wall Street book, New Black Wall Street, our Black Billionaires Club. That's something we do in our investment club. And again, guys, for those that might be interested in being a part of investment club, we do have one available or opening back soon. First, you have to join the Black Billionaires Club, which you can find by simply going to the website, theblackbillionairesclub.com. I'll show you that here on the screen as well. But this is I won't call it next level. This is just information that many people simply just are never exposed to, never aware of, never given information about. And I'm just going to do what I can to be able to help you guys to understand that. Now, Tisha, you asked a question, how do you buy, right? How do you buy stock or whatever? So please inbox that to me so that I can, incorporate how to buy your first stock. That's a class that I teach, but I can run through some of it here on the show like this. And any questions that you guys have that you might think about later, make sure you inbox us as well. And I'll try to incorporate the answers to those questions in future shows. But for those that are interested in being part of our investment club, those that are saying, you know what, I want to get my cake and eat it too. Those are saying, you know what, I don't want to do it by myself. I don't know where to start. I need some help getting started. Well, again, it begins by deciding to be a part of Black Billionaires Club at $20 a month. That gets you investment club eligible, right? And then as we open up enrollment, which will be in the next 3 months, you can actually enroll to be a part of our investment club. And I believe we got quite a few people here that are already a part of our investment club and part of the New Black Wall of the Black Billionaires Club. Okay, I'll make sure I got your questions here. All right, or you can invest directly. Yep. So make sure you invest. So she asked, so you can invest directly or you can invest third party. So I'll talk about third party first because that's what most people will be going through. And then I'll also do a show on how to invest directly with companies. I can do that as well. But got to make sure you inbox me those questions so that it'll be somewhere written that I can refer back to, and I can begin to put shows around that as well. Okay. Now, definitely would love to know from you guys that joined us or that's been with us the whole time. We want to get your feedback on today's show. I don't want to, I can go on and on and on because I talk about money a lot. But I do want to be, cognizant of your time for our Black Money and Power show. What's something that you learned today? What's your takeaway from today? Was it worth your time, the Black Money and Power show? Was it worth your time and why? That's basically the question I'm asking you today. Was it worth your time and why? I really, do my best to bring great content that could be of value to you. We understand that most people ain't teaching and talking about money like this in this way. And so I'm just going to do my part. But I want to make sure that you're getting extreme value of it. I want to make sure that you're liking, you're sharing with other people, because this is just, quite honestly, this is something that could be game changing for some people. Just to first become aware that you could be getting something, you could be into something that could be growing in value and you could be getting paid. That's multiple streams of income right there. Just so you be aware that you can follow great big multi-billion-dollar companies and see what they're doing and begin to think like them and do it yourself. And another way to create multiple streams of income. But basically, this show is all about those who are serious, and I mean serious, about leaving an inheritance to their children's children. Because in order for you to really do that, You must major in money in all aspects of your life, whether it be from your retirement to your estate planning, to your insurance, to all that stuff. And in order for you to really leave an inheritance of wealth, say good book says that a father leaves houses and riches to his kids. In order for you to do that, you got to major in money. Why? Because money is major. It's not a minor subject, not in our society. It's a major subject. People kill and steal and destroy for money. So money must be major. And many of us are minoring in this thing we call money. Okay. So I learned that I can buy one share for $216, and that's cheap. Absolutely. If you think about McDonald's being around, I'm gonna go back into McDonald's tomorrow because there's some stuff we ain't even cover. They ain't had time to cover, and we talk about McDonald's. So I'll continue along. I talk about McDonald's as well. I thought I needed a few thousand. That's right. This is a combination with my Roth. Absolutely, your Roth IRA. We'll talk about that at some point in time. I can retire at 60. Might be able to retire sooner than that. Leaving inheritance of wealth to your family. Absolutely. So this is the Black Money and Power Show, man. Hope you guys enjoyed, learn a little bit about money. I know that this topic is not really sexy. I know that it's not going to be appealing to everybody. Although we all want money, we don't necessarily all want to learn about money. I understand that. So I'll do my best to keep it engaging, to keep it entertaining, because I know that entertainment captures people's attention. But at the end of the day, we talk about money. And I know that it is what it is, okay? It is what it is. Mr. Ryan Scott said, I learned about the decline, fear in foreign markets and how that caused an increase in the dollar. Absolutely, caused an increase in the dollar. This is the Black Money and Power Show, guys, where Black folk talk about money in the morning. And, welcome to Wall Street, guys. For those that really, really want to, that are interested. I ain't gonna say really, really want, because I didn't really, really want when I first got introduced to this topic. But if you're interested in some of the things that we talked about today, you're saying, man, I see some parallels, some connections here. I see some connections to my retirement accounts. I see connections to my Roth, my IRA. I see connections to my insurance. I see connections to my money, and I'm gonna show up to learn more, day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment. We begin to reduce the perish that happens in our community because we are actually increasing the knowledge. And our people perish for lack of knowledge. This is the New Black Wall Street. We're preaching presentation. Our signature show, the Black Money and Power Show, will be here Monday through Thursday, going forward at 8 a.m. unless something comes up, to be able to provide you information, answer your questions that relate to your money, and try to just grab and give you more and more teaching. This is good. This is an edutainment. That's what this is. And I'm your host, ERGJ, certified financial educator, CEO of ERGJ Enterprise, and author of the international best-selling book, The Black Billionaires Club. And I'll tell you, all 12 of those Black billionaires that are in that book are investors. They all have learned how to make their money work harder for them than they work for it. And the same thing that they've learned, you can choose to learn. Same decisions that they made, you can choose to make. But first, they got to see that there are different options available to us. And I hope to bring you some of those options through this show. Well, beautiful people, I want you to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we all we need. And thank God, that's more than enough. Until next episode, I want you to remember this. Oh, not now. I want you to remember until next episode. You know what time it is. Man, Mr. DJ hits the music.
The new Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there at the next episode of The New Black Wall Street. The New Black Wall Street.